I've been hearing a lot of buzz lately around the word Kundalini and how people are having Kundalini awakenings left and right. So what does it mean? Is it dangerous? Are your physical symptoms, like for example flu symptoms, a sign of Kundalini awakening? What do you do if your Kundalini energy is waking up? Or how do you help it to wake up? In this episode, I'm going to tell you all about it. The awakening energy of Kundalini has nothing to do with a person's culture or religion or any system of belief. While it is basically mentioned in yogic texts, it's also mentioned in other spiritual traditions and systems. So Kundalini is a dormant energy coiled up at the base of the spine. Some people call it serpent energy because it actually looks like a resting snake coiled 8 times, waiting to unleash its magnificent power at the base of a huge tree. So this energy is nothing other than the force of creation, resting, waiting for an opportunity to rise up in order to be unified with the higher consciousness. The Kundalini is not so much a physical energy. It's a movement of this energy in the subtle body, not the actual physical body, in the subtle body, although you may feel it in the physical body. When it starts to move and awaken, and when it starts sending ripples of its first energetic waves up the spine, some of the knots and issues of the psyche start to unravel, and some of the physical issues start to unravel. The actual full-on Kundalini awakening experience is extremely rare, and it's very, very intense. It's basically a surge of energy that starts from Muladhara, which is the first chakra at the bottom of the spine, and moves up, activating the rest of the chakras in order to be released over the top of the head with an intense presence in the third eye chakra, located in the forehead right here. So what happens is that the whole system awakens in this way, right? Because the spine is where the energy centers, the main energy centers are located. So when Kundalini starts awakening, either gradually or spontaneously as a surge, a person starts to perceive higher states of consciousness. As the knots in the person's psyche start to unravel, all the illusions of our worldly conditioning and this persona that we think makes up who we are, they start to come apart. This can be a painful process because it means looking at everything through a much broader, objective perspective, understanding things we might not have seen before in ourselves, right? Because we're observing now in our relationships with others and on our place and purpose in this world. This can mean a thorough reevaluation of different things in our life. It can mean the end of relationships, habits, work situations, and old ways of being. It's like our system cannot sustain them anymore. They're not part of who we are. As the energy centers of our body start opening up, waking up, if you will, we may experience a deeper empathy with others. It's an almost telepathic perception in some cases. We can experience a deeper knowing. Possibly some psychic abilities may start to awaken. Sometimes aging can appear to slow down because this energy feeds us from within. Creativity can increase, and we also have more of an internal peace and ease. Some of the greater mysteries of life we begin to almost intuitively sense. Before we look at some of the symptoms that might be signs for you to realize that your Kundalini energy is awakening, let's look at some of the possible triggers for this energy to awaken. So traditionally, it was through a regular and strong yoga practice. That was years and years ago, right? Not the yoga that's present in the modern world now. However, now it's becoming more and more common for people to have spontaneous awakenings without any kind of yoga practice. If you've had energy work done on you through plant medicine, possibly some sexual experiences maybe, or maybe even trauma or abuse or loss, and so on and so forth. Or it can happen for no other reason other than that your soul is actually ready for it. Your soul has incarnated in your physical body for a reason. And if you're not living out your true soul purpose, Kundalini can show up in order to shake you up so you can change course, so you realize that you're just sleepwalking through life and this isn't what you're here for, that there's something more for you. Sometimes it'll cause a breakdown, but this will only be to lift you up higher so you can embody more of who you truly are. So what are some of the actual symptoms or red flags that might indicate you're having a Kundalini awakening? Take care when you're evaluating your symptoms, because some of the symptoms masking as Kundalini might be something else. Right? What you should be looking for is if your symptoms are not easily explained, if there are inconsistencies in your symptoms, or you just feel that there is something weird going on. When your Kundalini is awakening and trying to move up your spine, but the energetic, physical, and nervous system is unprepared or maybe even blocked up and won't allow for this energy to flow up freely, that's when most of the symptoms will show up, because the energy cannot move and it's trying to clear all the blockages, right? And it produces symptoms. So you may feel energetic sensations like electricity in the body or energy surges that will jolt you while you're lying down, for example. This one used to happen to me all the time. You may feel shaking in the body or vibration, which might feel more internal, like somewhere around your tissues rather than externally on your skin. You may feel a sensation like snakes crawling in your back. When I did my 10-day Vipassana meditation course, I was sitting cross-legged, right? And the Kundalini was so active, I literally thought that an alien was going to pop out of my back. I kept feeling it like moving up and down like this and through my skin. It was insane. You may have unexplained intense muscle pain or heat rising from the base of your spine to your head, especially when you lay down. Sensory stimuli might become overwhelming for you. Like, for example, noise, colors, or lights. It might start to feel like too much. You may also start hearing a weird buzzing in your ears. I still have it, for example, or weird sounds. Like, for some time, I kept hearing the sound of a life support machine, which used to freak me out, to be honest. You may experience waves of bliss or intense pleasure for no actual physical reason. You're just sitting there and then this wave comes over you and you're somewhere else. And this will make you feel connected to something bigger than yourself. If you've ever experienced this, then watch out. This might be a Kundalini awakening. Situations around you might start to feel more stressful than they did before. Your job, for example, can start giving you extreme anxiety, and you might even feel really resistant to being there on a daily basis, right? Your relationships with other people, your colleagues, or whoever, they may start disintegrating. You might not be able to bear them anymore. The structures around you, what you have put in place to prop up what you think of as yourself, will start unraveling. They won't be able to sustain you anymore. You might even feel like everything is pointless, that it doesn't make sense to you anymore. Things that you had committed to previously begin to dissolve, or they may even be taken away from you, and you're left wondering why. It's because they're not serving you anymore. So synchronicities will also start happening to you that are guiding you to your authentic path and your purpose. They're kind of like a reminder that there's something greater going on here. So you may meet the right people, find something online that will just be like an eye-opening thing for you, or you may find a workshop that will expand you, or a teacher may show up, or you will come across the right book, and in that book you'll come across a reference to another book, and so on and so forth. You will be guided. As you're adjusting to this new state of awakened energy within you, your nervous system will be making adjustments to hold more of this energy. So you will start becoming more sensitive to your external circumstances, and you will start perceiving what is not serving you anymore. Maybe you'll realize you have to move out of your apartment that doesn't energetically align with you. Maybe you'll intuitively sense that you want to eat different foods. Or, I don't know, you may get this ping that I have to reorganize my business right now. Or, I can't watch the show anymore, it's not aligning with me. Or you might feel the urge to attend some events, for example. Or you may not be able to be around large crowds of people anymore, or certain people, or certain social situations, and so on and so forth. You may develop an interest in spiritual growth, or in metaphysics, or the esoteric. Or you might crave education around these topics. You might be looking up workshops to attend, books about this, and so on and so forth. Do something to help your body be more open to this energy. Help it to dissolve the blocks, if you will. You may do some yoga, for example, or Tai Chi. You may do some ecstatic dance or acupressure, maybe some movement, long walks in nature, or whatever you're drawn to, basically. If you don't know what is best for you, try several things and stick to what feels best. The physical body is the vehicle that will carry and ground your spirit, your awakening in the end. It's going to be what helps this energy flow. And what this energy wants to do is flow. This is its main goal, if you want, right? It's going to flow up your spine, go out of your head, and connect you to the divine. So what I would suggest is do some meditations. When you're in the meditative state, the energy blockages in your body start dissolving almost spontaneously. So what you want to do in this process is to basically help this energy flow by unblocking any physical, mental, or spiritual blocks, right? Or pockets of stagnant energy that are present either in your physical or your subtle body. It's a process. But if you're ready for it, you will succeed. I guarantee that. I'm sending you love. May you be happy, peaceful, liberated.